All right, so let's cut the crap and dive right into this Prince deep dive. You guys wanted the no bullshit version, so we're going to rip through all this info, Wikipedia, articles, the whole damn thing, and get to the good stuff. We're talking career highs and lows, crazy shit, that name change fiasco, even his wild-ass personal life. Strap yourselves in.
What's insane about Prince is he just told everyone to fuck off with their expectations. We're going to uncover the evolution of his music, his badass attitude, and his wars against the damn music industry. This is going to be a wild ride.
First off, can you believe this dude signed with Warner Bros. When he was only 19?
19. That's insane. That tells you everything you need to know about his potential. Even as a teenager, he was a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. And those early albums, Dirty Mind, Controversy, and 1999, they were game changers. This wasn't some watered-down funk or R&B shit. He fused everything and wasn't afraid to hit you with serious social commentary.
He was pushing boundaries right from the start, challenging norms, tackling topics other artists wouldn't touch.
In MTV, Prince, along with Michael Jackson, blew up that whole racist barrier they had with their music videos.
Think about Little Red Corvette. It was one of the first videos by a black artist to get serious airtime on MTV, a channel that basically said, nah, we don't play black music.
It's crazy how he shaped pop culture. Speaking of shaping culture, Purple Rain, that was peak Prince, right?
Absolutely. Purple Rain, the album and the film, launched him into superstardom.
24 weeks at #1 on the Billboard charts, and an Oscar for Best Original Song Score. Who would have thought?
Critics called it one of the greatest musical films of all time. And then you have the whole Darling Nikki controversy with Tipper Gore. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's some classic music industry drama. Tipper Gore hears this song, freaks the fuck out about the lyrics, and bam, the parental advisory label is born.
It's amazing how one song sparked a huge debate about censorship, a defining moment in music history.
Prince sure knew how to piss people off. Even after Purple Rain, he kept pumping out hits. Kiss, Manic Monday, which he wrote for the Bangles. The guy was a machine.
He was constantly evolving, always exploring new sounds and pushing his creativity. He refused to be put in a box labeled as just one genre.
Okay, but what about Under the Cherry Moon, his second film? That thing bombed. It even won a Razzie for Worst Picture.
True, it wasn't critically acclaimed at the time, but some critics are now calling it a cult classic. Shows how opinions can change.
Next up, Sign of the Times. This is where we see Prince's genius on full display.
A lot of people consider Sign of the Times his masterpiece. A double album, incredibly ambitious, blending so many genres seamlessly. It dives into some deep themes and showcases his brilliance.
This is the album that solidified him as a true visionary. But then things get a little weird. He gets into a huge fight with Warner Bros. Over control of his music and changes his name to a symbol.
He was like, fuck this. Rebelling against the system, demanding to own his art. A fight for creative freedom.
It was a pain in the ass for everyone else. The artist, formerly known as Prince. Seriously, what the fuck?
It shows the messed up power dynamics between artists and labels. He was ready to flip the table on the whole industry, even if it meant pissing off a few people.
He never shied away from making a statement. Even with all that drama, Prince kept making music, touring, experimenting with new sounds, right up until his death in 2016.
He left behind an incredible legacy. 39 studio albums released during his lifetime, plus a ton of unreleased stuff locked in his vault.
39 albums. Jesus Christ, the guy was a musical monster. And his influence, you could see it everywhere, with countless artists calling him an inspiration.
There's no denying his impact on music. He pushed boundaries, inspired generations, and left behind work that people are still celebrating and exploring. Before we got into all that Warner Bros. Drama, we were talking about Prince as this musical prodigy, style icon, spiritual seeker, and industry rebel. It's like the dude was 10 different people rolled into one, constantly changing how we saw him.
And that mystique, that Prince aura, was fueled by all these insane stories, rumors, legends. He was practically a myth.
Totally. And some of those stories might be bullshit, but they all added to the fascination with Prince.
So let's dig into some of those lesser-known facts, the behind-the-scenes stuff that gives us a glimpse of the real Prince.
One thing people don't realize is how many songs Prince actually wrote. And not just his own hits, the dude was writing and producing for tons of other artists.
Oh, right, like Manic Monday for the Bangles. That song's a goddamn banger.
Exactly. He basically gave that song away and it became huge. But there are tons of examples. Sinead O'Connor, Stevie Nicks, The Time, He wrote for everyone.
It's crazy how many hits came from that one dude's brain.
It shows you his insane musical range and how generous he was as an artist. A creative machine, always overflowing with
It
ideas.
wasn't just songwriting, right? Didn't he play almost every instrument?
He did. On a lot of his early albums, he played almost all the instruments himself. Guitar, drums, keyboards.
Yeah.
A fucking virtuoso.
That's next level talent. No wonder he was known as a multi-instrumentalist.
And his talents weren't limited to music. Did you know he was a huge basketball fan?
Wait, seriously? Prince playing basketball. I can't picture that.
It's not what you'd expect, but he was apparently pretty damn good. Short, but agile and competitive as hell.
I would have loved to see Prince schooling fools on the court. The quiet, mysterious artist versus the trash-talking athlete.
There are even stories about him challenging Michael Jackson to a game back in the day.
No way. Two music titans going head-to-head. Who won?
Nobody really knows. Some say Prince won, some say it was Michael, but the legend of that game lives on.
Classic Prince, shrouded in mystery. Speaking of mystery, we got to talk about that vault of unreleased music.
Ah, yes, the vault. Thousands of unreleased songs, alternate versions, albums that never saw the light of day. A treasure trove of music just sitting there.
What's the deal with that? Why keep all that music hidden?
There are a few theories. Some say he was a perfectionist, always tweaking his work. Others think he was holding back, waiting for the perfect time to release it.
Like he was playing the long game with his legacy, making sure his music would surprise people even after he was gone.
It definitely adds to his mystique, this idea that there's so much more Prince music out there waiting to be discovered.
All right, so we've dug up some hidden gems of his career, but we haven't touched on his relationships with women.
Right, you can't talk about Prince without talking about the women in his life.
His love life was eventful. He was linked to some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and his music always explored love, lust, desire.
His relationships were deeply tied to his art. A lot of his songs were inspired by his own experiences, good and bad.
He never shied away from pushing the boundaries of sexuality in his music and performances. Think about the Darling Nikki controversy, or songs like Get Off and Cream.
His music could be incredibly seductive, but also surprisingly vulnerable. He explored love and desire with honesty that people connected with.
It wasn't all sunshine and roses, though. He had some high-profile relationships that crashed and burned, including his marriages to Mate Garcia and Manuela Testolini.
His personal life, just like his music, had its ups and downs. We might never know the full story behind those relationships, but they impacted his art.
It's like he poured his whole being into his music. The passion, the pain, the joy, the heartbreak. It's all there.
That's what makes his music so powerful. It connects with us on a deep emotional level.
It's the language of the soul, man.
Exactly. And Prince was fluent.
Okay, we've covered a lot. The music, the controversies, the personal life. But we haven't really talked about his legacy.
And what a legacy it is.
We've gone deep into Prince's world. The music, the drama, the crazy-ass life. But what about the big picture? What the fuck is his legacy?
It's massive. He changed the musical landscape, no question.
He was a trailblazer. Mixed genres like it was nothing, created a sound that was totally unique but something everyone could get down with, and he fought like hell for control, took on the whole damn music industry.
And inspired a whole generation of artists. His creativity and fearlessness, man.
He was one of a kind. You see his influence everywhere, from other artists' music to fashion to how we think about creative expression.
What blows me away is how relevant his music still is, decades later, and it still sounds fresh.
That's the mark of a true icon. Their work doesn't age. He keeps speaking to new people.
It's not just the music, it's the message. Prince's music was about empowerment, self-expression, breaking down barriers. Those themes are powerful today.
He was ahead of his time, embraced androgyny, gave the finger to gender stereotypes, used his platform to call out racism and poverty.
He didn't give a shit about going against the grain. Spoke his mind, and that takes guts, inspiring as hell.
So, biggest takeaway from Prince's crazy-ass life, what should we remember about the Purple One?
He never compromised, stayed true to himself even when it was hard, even when people hated on him. And because of that, he created something truly special.
He showed us how to be ourselves, follow our own path, not give a damn about being different.
Prince's life was proof that creativity is powerful, that artistic integrity matters. True icons leave a mark that never fades.
Damn right. Mind-blowing deep dive. Prince was more than a musician, he was a force of nature.
An artist, through and through. What stood out to you about his journey? The artistry, the fight for control, those legendary dance moves. He left behind a whole world of music to explore. Go get lost in it.
That's it for our Prince deep dive. Until next time, stay funky and keep searching for the music that moves your soul.